What if humanity's deepest question, how much time do we have left, received an answer so direct, so brutally honest, it silenced even the most audacious voice? Imagine Mel Gibson, the visionary who dared to plunge into the depths of divine suffering, kneeling, his heart heavy with the world's shadows, whispering to Jesus the question that haunts us all. And the answer, it wasn't a date nor a catastrophic event, but a warning so penetrating, so disarming, that it left him speechless. A forbidden truth, a dangerous discovery he now shares, not as a prophecy, but as an urgent call. Prepare yourself, because what he heard will transform your perception of time forever. I admit, there's a question that has always haunted me, a quiet whisper in the darkest hours, a persistent hum beneath the surface of my busiest days. It's the one we all carry, isn't it? How much time do we truly have left, not just on this earth, but for that unspoken apology, that long-deferred dream, that moment of genuine connection we keep pushing to someday? I feel it, a gnawing anxiety, a fear that the sand in the hourglass is slipping away faster than I can grasp it. This isn't about grand prophecies or apocalyptic visions. It's about the very personal, very human dread of unfulfilled potential, of love left unexpressed, of a life not fully lived. It leaves me feeling fragile, exposed, wondering if I'm spending my most precious commodity wisely or just letting it dissipate like smoke. Is there an answer to this relentless ticking, or are we just meant to stumble forward in the dark? You feel it too, don't you? That subtle, almost imperceptible pressure building, not just in your own life, but in the very air around us. The world seems to spin faster, each day blurring into the next, leaving us breathless and, often, bewildered. We chase deadlines, consume information at an impossible rate, and yet, underneath all that frantic activity, the same fundamental question persists. It's a shared vulnerability, a silent plea echoing through the collective consciousness. Are we running out of chances? Are these fleeting moments, these precious breaths, being squandered on the trivial when the profound beckons? This fear, this profound doubt, is not a sign of weakness, but of a deeply human yearning for purpose, for meaning, before the final curtain falls. It's the very essence of our mortality laid bare. And so, I find myself here, laying bare this raw, unadorned question that binds us all. It's a confession, yes, but also an invitation to look inward, to acknowledge that deep-seated unease about the scarcity of time. I've wrestled with it, lost sleep over it, and sometimes simply tried to ignore it, hoping it would fade. But it never does. It's the ultimate riddle, one that shapes our choices, fuels our regrets, and defines our hopes. To stand before such a question, to truly confront its weight, is to stand at the precipice of a profound truth. What if there was an answer, not one that tells us when, but how? An answer so direct, so utterly disarming, that it would force us to redefine everything we thought we knew about our existence and the very nature of time itself. I feel it, and you do too, don't you? That subtle, almost imperceptible pressure building, not just in your own life, but in the very air around us. The world seems to spin faster, each day blurring into the next, leaving us breathless and often bewildered. We chase deadlines, consume information at an impossible rate, and yet, underneath all that frantic activity, the same fundamental question persists. It's a shared vulnerability, a silent plea echoing through the collective consciousness. Are we running out of chances? Are these fleeting moments, these precious breaths, being squandered on the trivial when the profound beckons? This fear, this profound doubt, is not a sign of weakness, but of a deeply human yearning for purpose, for meaning, before the final curtain falls. It's the very essence of our mortality, laid bare, a constant reminder of our fragile existence in the grand tapestry of time. And so I find myself here, laying bare this raw, unadorned question that binds us all. It's a confession, yes, but also an invitation to look inward, to acknowledge that deep-seated unease about the scarcity of time. I've wrestled with it, lost sleep over it, and sometimes simply tried to ignore it, hoping it would fade. But it never does. It's the ultimate riddle, one that shapes our choices, fuels our regrets, and defines our hopes. To stand before such a question, to truly confront its weight, is to stand at the precipice of a profound truth. What if there was an answer, not one that tells us when, but how? An answer so direct, so utterly disarming, that it would force us to redefine everything we thought we knew about our existence and the very nature of time itself. This shared human struggle, this yearning for clarity amidst the temporal fog, truly unites us all. This isn't merely a personal crisis. It's a universal symphony of existential longing, playing out in every life, every culture. Think of the quiet desperation in a parent's eyes, watching children grow too fast, wishing for more moments, or the profound sorrow of a loved one lost too soon, leaving a gaping void and countless unsaid words. Each sunrise brings a fresh opportunity, yet often we find ourselves caught in the relentless current of distractions, postponing the very acts that define our humanity. We yearn for a blueprint, a whispered secret that unlocks the true value of these fleeting seconds before they dissolve into the vast ocean of the past. This shared human condition, this dance with the finite, is what makes Mel Gibson's encounter so resonant, so urgently relevant to every single one of us. The specific event that shattered the illusion of endless tomorrows wasn't a grand, public spectacle, but a deeply private, raw moment of existential crisis for Mel Gibson. It was a late, starless night, the kind where the world outside seemed to hold its breath, and the heavy silence within his study pressed down, amplifying every unspoken fear. The scent of old leather and burning incense mingled with the acrid tang of his own anxieties. A profound sorrow, born from witnessing humanity's escalating chaos and wrestling with his personal demons, settled upon him like a shroud. He felt the weight of countless unanswered prayers, the silent cries of a world adrift, echoing in his very bones. Kneeling on cold, unforgiving stone, his voice a hoarse whisper, he finally surrendered to the unshakable question that had tormented him for years. Jesus, how much time do we truly have left? The air itself seemed to thicken, anticipating a revelation. My own quest for an answer to this relentless ticking began long before I heard of Mel Gibson's profound encounter. I delved into dusty tomes of ancient philosophy, seeking solace in the Stoics or a glimmer of understanding in the existentialists. I devoured scientific articles, hoping quantum physics or cosmological theories might offer a mathematical equation for my anxiety, a predictable trajectory for our collective fate. Hours blurred into days, surrounded by flickering screens and the faint scent of old paper, as I chased theories about cyclical time, linear progression, and the ultimate heat death of the universe. Yet, each new piece of information, while intellectually stimulating, left an unsettling void. The more I learned, the more fragmented and elusive the truth seemed. Did any of it truly quiet the frantic beat of my own heart, or simply add more intricate layers to the mystery I desperately sought to unravel? The human mind, in its magnificent complexity, often seeks to quantify the unquantifiable, to tame the wild unknown with logic and reason, but some questions transcend even our most brilliant equations. Beyond the solitary pursuit of knowledge, I engaged in countless conversations, seeking wisdom from those I admired. I spoke with spiritual mentors, their voices calm and reassuring, offering perspectives steeped in faith and tradition. Friends, with their lived experiences, shared anecdotes of loss and resilience, urging me to live in the moment or not to worry about what I couldn't control. There was comfort in these exchanges, in the warmth of shared meals and the empathetic gaze across a table, but it was always fleeting. The well-intentioned advice, while momentarily soothing, never quite pierced the core of my deep-seated unease. It felt like applying a superficial balm to a wound that required profound healing. Perhaps you found yourself in similar discussions, haven't you? Nodding along, intellectually agreeing, yet feeling that persistent ache of unanswered longing just beneath the surface. A silent protest against the temporary nature of human counsel. We crave more than just coping mechanisms. We yearn for revelation. The cumulative effect of these frustrated searches was a growing sense of desperation, a quiet despair that no amount of human ingenuity or shared wisdom could truly address the monumental question. Every book closed, every conversation ended, left me with a hollow echo of unfulfilled expectation. The initial spark of hope, ignited by a new theory or a compelling argument, would invariably dim, leaving me feeling more exposed to the relentless march of time. I began to understand, in a profound and humbling way, that some truths lie beyond the grasp of our intellect, beyond the comforting words of our peers. This deepening void, this stark realization of human limitation, was not an end, but a crucial preparation. It was the barren soil tilled by frustration, ready to receive a seed of truth so utterly different, so profoundly disarming, that it could only come from a source far beyond our earthly comprehension. The stage was set for a revelation that would shatter all preconceived notions. In that profound, starless night, as Mel Gibson knelt, the heavy silence of his study was suddenly, inexplicably, filled not with absence, but with an overwhelming, palpable presence. It wasn't a vision of blinding light or a booming voice from the heavens, but a sensation of infinite understanding that settled around him, a warmth against the cold stone beneath his knees. The scent of old books and his own desperate prayers seemed to dissolve, replaced by an ethereal aroma, like rain on dry earth after a long drought, or the faint, sweet perfume of ancient frankincense. His ragged breath hitched, not in fear but in awe, as if the very air had become charged with a divine current. He felt utterly exposed, yet simultaneously profoundly held. This was the moment the seeker met the source, not as an observer, but as a soul bared before the ultimate truth. The world outside ceased to exist. Only this sacred space remained. Then a voice, not heard with his ears, but felt deep within the marrow of his bones, resonated with a compassion so vast it threatened to break him. It was the whisper of creation, the echo of eternity, tender yet firm, cutting through the layers of his human anxieties. Mel, it seemed to convey, you ask of, when, but that is not the answer you truly seek, nor the truth you are meant to carry. The initial shock was disorienting. His lifelong quest for a definitive timeline, a prophecy, shattered in that instant. Yet there was no judgment, only an infinite, patient love that cradled his raw vulnerability. He felt a gentle hand on his soul, steadying him, preparing him for a revelation far more profound than any date on a calendar could ever be. This wasn't a scolding, but a mentor's tender correction, guiding him away from the surface and towards the unshakable depth of being. And then, the truth, so simple yet so utterly devastating in its power, unfolded within his mind like a scroll of ancient wisdom, illuminated by an inner light. It wasn't a warning of an ending, but a profound redefinition of existence itself. The time is not running out, Mel. It is being given. And how you choose to use each precious moment will determine your eternity. The words resonated with the weight of cosmic truth, stripping away every preconceived notion of scarcity and impending doom. This wasn't a prophecy of global catastrophe, but a deeply personal, urgent call to awaken. The mentor's presence, though unseen, felt like a steady anchor in a storm, offering not just consolation, but an empowering clarity. It was a truth forbidden to the casual ear, a dangerous discovery for those unwilling to confront its immense responsibility, yet utterly liberating for a soul prepared to receive it. The revelation that pierced Mel Gibson's soul, a truth whispered from beyond the veil of time, wasn't a doomsday clock ticking down, but an urgent call to radical self-awareness. It was a profound shift in perspective, a reframing of our finite existence not as a burden but as an immense gift. This forbidden truth, now shared through his experience, compels us to look inward, to confront the deepest corners of our being. Are you ready to hear it? To truly listen to the wisdom that redefines every tick of the clock? The first, most disarming truth is this: the hour of truth is now. Asterisk. It demands unwavering honesty with God and with ourselves. Authenticity, stripped bare of pretense and fear, becomes the very currency of the Spirit, the foundation upon which all genuine connection is built. This isn't about external performance. It's about the raw, unvarnished truth of who you are, right here, right now, under the gaze of eternity. It's a terrifying yet liberating invitation to shed the masks we wear, to step into the light of our true selves. Beyond the initial call to honesty, the mentor's voice, through Mel, gently reveals that asterisk, the battlefield is within. Asterisk. You see, the most profound war isn't fought on distant lands or in political arenas, but within the silent chambers of your own heart. It's the constant struggle against the shadows of doubt, resentment, and fear that seek to claim dominion. To conquer this inner darkness is to begin the healing of the world itself, one soul at a time. Repentance, therefore, isn't a punishment but a courageous first step towards victory, a turning away from that which diminishes you and towards the light of true purpose. And remember, judgment begins at home. Asterisk, don't wait for some distant final tribunal. The assessment of your actions, your intentions, unfolds in every single moment. It resonates in your conscience, shapes your relationship with the Creator, and echoes in the choices you make when no one else is watching. Live as if you are always standing before that sacred gaze, for in truth, you always are. Then comes the profound truth about the very essence of our being, a revelation that redefines our most cherished emotion. Love is not a feeling, but a sacrifice. Asterisk. This isn't the fleeting warmth of affection or the comfortable familiarity of companionship, but a love that transforms worlds, demanding action, often requiring profound forgiveness, and sometimes embracing deep suffering. It's the willingness to put another's well-being before your own, to extend grace even when it's undeserved, to mend what is broken at great personal cost. Think of the tender touch of a mother, the unwavering loyalty of a friend, the quiet heroism of everyday acts of kindness. These are the manifestations of sacrificial love. You are called to love, as if each act, each word, each moment of compassion is your last opportunity to embody the divine. Can you feel the weight of this truth? The immense power it holds to reshape your interactions, to imbue every relationship with eternal significance. Following this, the wisdom gently urges us to confront our trials, transforming our perception of hardship. Embrace the cross daily. Asterisks. Your burdens, your daily struggles, the unexpected challenges that pierce your comfort, these are not arbitrary punishments. Instead, they are sacred pathways, divinely appointed, for transformation and the forging of true spiritual strength. It is within the crucible of difficulty that faith doesn't merely survive, but truly flourishes, becoming resilient and radiant. Do you shy away from your struggles, wishing them away, or do you see them as opportunities for growth, for a deeper connection to a strength far greater than your own? Consider the quiet strength of a tree that weathers the storm, its roots growing deeper with every gale. Your cross might be a demanding relationship, a persistent illness, or a professional setback. Yet, in accepting and carrying it with grace, you unlock a profound wellspring of inner fortitude, discovering a purpose within the pain. In a world that constantly screams for our attention, another vital truth emerges, a gentle yet firm directive for our hurried souls. Silence the noise, hear the whisper. Asterisk. We are bombarded by endless distractions, by the clamor of external demands, by the incessant chatter of our own minds. But it is only in the profound quietude, in the deliberate act of stillness, that you will truly discern the divine warning, the subtle guidance meant solely for you. Prayer in this context is not merely talking to the divine. It is primarily an act of profound listening, a sacred space where the soul can attune itself to the soft, steady rhythm of eternal truth. Have you carved out such a sanctuary in your life, a place where the world fades and the whisper of wisdom can finally reach you, guiding your steps with clarity? This stillness is not emptiness. It is the fullness of presence, awaiting your intentional embrace. As these truths deepen, we are confronted with the very purpose of our transient existence, our impact on the tapestry of time. Your legacy is your lived faith. This isn't about erecting grand monuments or accumulating vast earthly wealth. It's about the quiet, persistent planting of seeds of righteousness, the tangible love you extend to the lives you touch, the unwavering truth you embody in your daily walk. Every single day becomes an opportunity to weave threads of eternity into the fabric of the temporal. And from this deep well of purpose springs another essential truth. Munish hope is an action. It is not a passive emotion, a mere wish for a better tomorrow. It is a fierce, active decision to trust, to persevere, to act with unwavering faith, even when the future seems shrouded in uncertainty. Hope, in its purest form, is the indomitable engine of the soul, propelling you forward, even through the darkest valleys, knowing that the divine promise holds true. Finally, the overarching message from Mel Gibson's encounter culminates in an urgent, transformative call that reshapes our perception of time itself. Know it, the warning is a call to awaken. This is not an impending end, but a powerful, immediate beginning. It's a profound summons to live with an intentionality so fierce, so unshakable, that you recognize every single moment as a sacred gift, every choice imbued with eternal significance. This urgent awakening leads us to the surprising source of true fulfillment. Joy resides in obedience. Genuine happiness is not found in the relentless pursuit of fleeting pleasures, but in the profound surrender and alignment with divine will. It is a beautiful paradox that, in giving up control, in yielding to a higher purpose, we discover an unparalleled liberation, a deep and abiding peace that transcends all earthly understanding. This is the truth that transforms fear into purpose and dread into divine delight. What seemed like a terrifying warning, a cosmic countdown to an unknown end, now reveals itself as the most profound gift, a divine sign woven into the very fabric of existence. My initial dread, the persistent whisper of running out, dissolves in the face of this truth. Time is not a dwindling resource, but an endless wellspring, constantly being poured into our laps. Each sunrise, each heartbeat, each breath is a deliberate offering, a moment specifically given to you, to me, to us all. This isn't a curse, but an invitation, a sacred summons to recognize the immense purpose embedded in every second. Mel Gibson's encounter, initially a disarming shock, becomes a beacon of radical responsibility, urging us to step away from the shadows of fear and into the brilliant light of intentional living. The perceived weakness of our finite days transforms into the undeniable strength of infinite opportunity, if only we choose to see it. Is this not a profound shift, a call to awaken our dormant spirits to the true value of life's fleeting beauty? And in this revelation, a profound catharsis washes over the soul, dissolving the chains of anxiety that bind us to the relentless clock. The liberation is breathtaking. We are not passive passengers hurtling towards an inevitable deadline, but active co-creators, entrusted with the sacred stewardship of each given moment. This isn't about avoiding an apocalyptic future. It's about crafting an eternal present. The forbidden truth is only dangerous to those unwilling to embrace their own agency, to those who prefer the comfort of victimhood over the immense power of choice. But for the awakened heart, it is the purest form of grace, a divine endorsement of our capacity to shape our own destiny, one conscious decision at a time. The mentor's gentle correction, steering us from when to how, becomes the ultimate act of love, empowering us to transform transient seconds into timeless legacies. Have you ever felt such a profound sense of release, understanding that the power was always within your grasp? The initial problem, that gnawing question of how much time do we have left, is not merely answered, it is utterly transcended. The warning is not a prophecy of doom, but a divine affirmation of life's preciousness, a cosmic nudge to live with an intentionality that echoes through eternity. We are not simply existing. We are being quos no given existence, moment by glorious moment, each imbued with the potential for divine connection and profound purpose. The perceived scarcity of time, the fear of unfulfilled dreams, is replaced by the boundless abundance of, now, a fertile ground for sowing seeds of love, forgiveness, and truth. This is the ultimate reframing. The end is not a cessation, but a culmination of how we have lived each given instant. It is a profound call to make every choice count, to infuse every interaction with meaning, and to recognize that the very act of living, consciously and lovingly, is our greatest offering. Will you accept this gift, this sacred opportunity to redefine your relationship with time and with eternity itself? So what does this profound revelation mean for your everyday life, for the mundane moments that fill your week? It means recognizing that every single breath, every interaction, every choice you make is a sacred opportunity. This isn't about grand gestures, but about the quiet courage to choose kindness over criticism, forgiveness over resentment, and presence over distraction. When you wake each morning, ask yourself, how will I give this time today? Let this truth transform your routine into a tapestry of intentionality. Embrace the difficult conversations, extend grace to yourself and others, and find moments of stillness to hear that divine whisper. You are not simply enduring, you are creating your eternity, one conscious, loving moment at a time. This perspective offers not a burden, but an immense liberation, empowering you to infuse every second with purpose and peace, knowing that each given moment is a step towards a meaningful existence. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and violet, I no longer see an ending, but a gentle turning of a page, a silent promise of another, given, dawn. The gnawing anxiety that once clung to my heart has dissolved, replaced by profound peace, a quiet resolve to embrace each breath as a sacred trust. This journey, initiated by Mel Gibson's raw encounter, has reshaped my soul's landscape, transforming fear into purpose. We are not merely existing, we are actively participating in a grand design, weaving our eternity thread by conscious thread. So as the world hushes around you and the stars begin their ancient dance, what quiet commitment will you make to this precious, given moment? Will you let it slip like sand, or hold it, cherish it, and infuse it with divine love, knowing that in its transient beauty lies the blueprint for your everlasting legacy, a beacon for truth seekers? As these profound truths about time being a gift, not a dwindling resource, begin to settle within your spirit, I invite you to pause and reflect on their personal resonance. What does it truly mean for your life right now to live as if eternity depended on it? This isn't a rhetorical question, but an intimate invitation to introspection, a moment to connect with the divine pulse within your own existence. Consider the choices you've made today, the words you've spoken, the quiet intentions held in your heart. Have they mirrored the sacred stewardship of this precious gift? Perhaps you're feeling a stirring, a gentle nudge towards a deeper intentionality. I'm curious, as you absorb this message, where in the world are you experiencing this moment? What time is it for you, right now, as you contemplate the eternal significance of your present? Share your reflections below, for your journey is part of this universal awakening.